Good afternoon and welcome to Complete Politics with Chukwuma Okoro. I am your host, Chukwuma Okoro, and I do hope that your weekend is going well, going smoothly after the week's struggle and all of that, despite what we are going through in this country, as a people, as one good people, united people, where we are still trying to find unity and build this nation. This country belongs to all of us, and we have no other country apart from this one. If I have to re-echo the words of late Brigadier General Tunde Idiabo, who said, look, Nigeria is the only country we have, and one option left for us is to build this country together as a people. Well, today we'll be looking at three topical issues. The planned protest of Free NNAMDI KANU, which is led by Sowore-led, is built to take place tomorrow. And incidentally, tomorrow also, another issue that we'll look at is tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of Endsars project that took place beginning from October 20th, 2020, and tomorrow it will be exactly 5 years, since that protest. And now the big question is, the victims of that protest, the victims and their families, have they been served justice and all of that? And when we move away from that, we'll also talk about the federal government saying that, look, they are going to review the presidential pardon list, which has generated a lot of controversy, in the past few days since the list was released. Because when the list was released, it contained a list of corrupt public officials, murderers, criminals, who were let off the hook by that presidential pardon. And when Nigerians put pressure, the Attorney General of the Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, came out to say, look, it is not conclusive, it is not final. It can undergo review. And we understand that the federal government is looking into that review because there have been some allegations and the LEA police made some requests. No, this is not the list, that we vetted and all of that. There are rumors here and there that some names were smuggled into the list and submitted to the presidency for his assent, to the president for his assent. Now, the big question is, how about the president's handlers? Didn't they follow through all of this? Is it possible that the president himself didn't go through the list? Was he not briefed and debriefed before releasing the list and all of that? Well, we will be joined shortly by Barrister Darlington Agomo. Barrister Darlington is a lawyer and political affairs analyst who will help us make sense of all of this. Because basically about the NNAMDI KANU issue, he is supposed to have a right of reply. Because on one show within the week, Barrister Darlington was of the opinion, look, how do you expect governors, senators, Peter Obi, political leaders of the Southeast to go and protest in Aso Rock? I mean, should it take an Sowore to spur that protest? How about the movements? How about the request? All the trips made to the Aso Rock during the days of Muhammadu Buhari. How about the one that Iwanyan went and trekked for more than 2-3 kilometers? And shortly after that, we lost him because he wasn't firm and he had to undertake that work. Now, Barrister is asking, what will be the benefit? What will be the value of the protest? The government is establishment. Wouldn't they see this protest as confrontational? Now, this is the view of Barrister Darlington. And according to him, should it be an Sowore who will, lead the protest? But netizens are saying, look, even if it is Sowore and the end justifies the means, should you have any problem with that? Barrister Darlington says, I don't have any problem with who is leading the protest. I don't even have any problem about the protest. But my concern is, do you think that Southeast governors will troop out, line up in a protest march to Aso Rock? Exactly, because what they are going to do is what they have done both in the day and in the night, in close quarters, closed doors with the former president and the current president. So these are the basic questions. And like I said, Barrister Darlington has a right of reply. It was on this show too, that he made those comments. So I would like for him to join us shortly and now speak further on all of this. The issue is, people are asking, if you go through comments on social media, Nigerians are saying, why are you still keeping NNAMDI KANU? When, as a matter of fact, murderers, killers are rehabilitated on a daily basis. If you go up north, known Nigerians that have killed, sacked communities, replaced them, are walking free. And this young man that was simply waving a flag, you are keeping him. You granted him bail. The military went to his house and almost snuffed life out of him. He ran away to Kenya, to UK, then to Kenya. He was renditioned. He came back. In April 2022, the court said, discharge this man. You don't have any local standard to try him. Out of the 15 charges, 8 were dismissed. In October that year, the court said, release this man. That was in 2022 under the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari. Now, 3 years after that, they are still holding him in incarceration. He's still being incarcerated. The question Nigerians are asking, why are you holding him? He's just a political prisoner. So what about the issue that he was talking about? And I recall too that way back before 2015, as at 2012, 2013, NNAMDI Kanu's major concern was, what do we do to make this country better? How do we build a united Nigeria? How do we make it happen? People that started out with us have all moved forward. So why are we lagging behind? At that point, his problem was not let us exit Nigeria. But by 2015, we had a certain president, Muhammadu Buhari, who came and deepened our fault lines. And it was at that point that the issue of marginalization of the Southeast came to the fore with those famous statements of the pot in the circle by President Muhammadu Buhari. And again, he said, you don't expect people that 5% of the people that voted for me to have 5%, more than the 97%, 5% that didn't vote for me to have the same equal benefit with the 97 that voted for me. A lot of people found that statement quite unpresidential. Having been elected the president, he was supposed to be the father figure, the father of all, and treat Nigerians equally. And for those 8 years, he made sure that he excluded the Southeast from the commanding heights of Nigeria's economy. So it was at that point, 15, 16, 17, that NNAMDI Kanu brought up the issue of Biafra agitation. No, the Igbos, the Southeasterners want the sovereign state of Biafra and all of that. They arrested him, took him to court, granted him bail. The man was walking freely until the military went to his house to, try to kill him. He ran away. Some people were killed in his house. He ran away to UK, from there to Kenya, and they arrested him and came back. All of that is history now. Now, the basic question is, what is the government? What does the government have behind against NNAMDI Kanu? Terrorism? You are freeing people that have been caught, that killed Nigerians in cold blood directly, and this one was just waving a flag and making statements. No, these are the opinions of Nigerians. As an anchor, I'm just telling us the opinions of Nigerians and all of that. And I would like for us to weigh in on all of that. Now, last week, Omoyele Sowore said, look, enough is enough, and called out Igbo leaders and said, look, let us march to Aso Rock. Governors of the Southeast, this is the time to prove that you are behind the NNAMDI Kanu. If you really want him to be released from detention and freed, from any charges of terrorism and all of that, you have to embark on a protest. Political leaders, he reached out to the governor of Abia State, the governors of the Southeast, reached out to Peter Obi, reached out to the man that represents NNAMDI Kanu in the House of Representatives, Obi Agwacha, and all of that. The Abia State House of Assembly, the deputy speaker, they said they were traveling on a trip to UK, that when they come back, they respond to him. Obi said, well, I won't be available and all of that. Now, the issue is this, the problem Nigeria. Now, before then, the police went to court and said, no, stop this protest. We cannot guarantee peace, that the protest will be successful. And on Friday, the judge that was handling the case, said, no, you don't have any right to stop the protest. You have to serve the organizers of the protest and now put the case on Tuesday, which is 21st of October, a day after the bill day for the protest. Now, what is it? What game is that all about? Does it look like, well, the protest should go on, but it should be peaceful from the government side and all of that? The DSS and the police tried to stop it, but the courts said, no, you don't have right to stop it until you serve the respondents and all of that. So that is the situation. But the police public relations officer at the federal level has said, no, at no time did we try, to stop the protest. But you didn't try, but you sent your lawyers to court to go and stop the protest. So all that mix up is what we expect Barrister Darlington to walk through with all of another panelists that will also join the show. If you want to be a part of this conversation, just click on the StreamYard button, and be a part of this conversation. We'd like to hear you, what you have to say and all of that. So as we wait the arrival of Barrister Darlington Agommo, I would also like us to chime on another issue, which is the Endsars anniversary. The Endsars anniversary was conducted peacefully, largely peaceful, for the 10 days, from 20th October 2020 up until there was some kind of infiltration. And Nigerians are asking, who are the ones behind this infiltration? Because at that point it was very peaceful. Nigerians of good means, Nigerians with good heart came out, to give support in one way, in cash and kind, to the protesters. And the protesters were quite peaceful all over the country until the military rolled out the tanks and started shooting young Nigerians at the Loki toll gate, after the light was put off and all of that. Up until today, some journalists are still on the run, for what they said or what they did, at the Endsars protest, just to promote it, to show the world what Nigerian youths were going through. By the way, the issue then was that the state anti-robbery squad, was overreaching itself, quite overzealous. If they see a young man with a laptop, they'll just conclude that the person is a fraudster, is a scammer, and all of that. And without going through due diligence, to profile the person and check them, they will try to extort. Some of them were shot at close range, some were killed, and all of that. It was at that point that Nigerian youth say, look, enough is enough. Enough is enough. We have to bring to the notice of the government that, look, these policemen have their excesses, and this is the right time to stop them. Peacefully until the protest went awry. And after the protest, well, some Nigerians were killed. Like I said, we still have some journalists that are still on the run because of what they did. But the basic question, the big issue now is, 5 years after the Endsars protest, has the police been reformed? Meanwhile, the police that came out, to kill people in some parts of the country, in Enugu, in Calabar, in the north, were the same people that Nigerian youths were protesting for. You said, apart from Endsars, they were also talking about police reforms. How about policemen who retrofit themselves with their personal money? How about Nigerian policemen that have died without pensions? Because at that point, pension was still an issue, and up until this moment, they are still tweaking it to ensure, that it captures every officer, that is serving in the Nigerian police. That was basically what the Nigerian youths were protesting. But it was the same Nigerian police that came out and started killing youths. 5 years down the line, are we sure that the reform that we asked for has been made? Because it was only a name change from SARS to SWAT SWAT. But those people still carry out largely the same activities that they were doing before the protest. Are we going forward or are we going backward? These are the basic issues. And tomorrow, that is the 5th anniversary, the victims of that protest, have justice been served to them and all of that? That is the big question Nigerians are asking at this moment. As we wait for what will happen tomorrow, I think Nigerians, the protest will likely be peaceful, and it coincides with the Take It Back movement. I said, apart from protesting against the bad governance, we are also asking for police reforms, for poverty alleviation, not poverty alleviation by giving handouts and all of that, but to ensure basically that the economy grows, income soars, inflation drops, pump price of fuel reduces, and all of that. That is the essence of that protest tomorrow. And I do hope that it will be very peaceful, because Nigerians should conduct themselves. There is no need going out there in the name of protest. You are destroying the very few properties, the very few critical national infrastructure, critical national assets that you have, and you are destroying them. It is not right. Let us always do right all the time and protest peacefully. The government wants to hear us, and our criticisms also help them to reform, and change the way, of doing things. As we still wait for the arrival of Barrister Darlington Agommo, let us go for a short break, and when we return, we'll usher in the guest and go on with the discussion. Welcome back. We are still having problems trying to connect with Barrister Darlington Agomo. And I do hope that he will join us shortly so that we can get into the discussions proper. But before we join him, let me read out a few things that will be of interest to us as a people. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja granted an interim injunction restraining activists Omoyele Sowore and others from organizing or participating in the planned October 20 Free NNAMDI KANU protest, which sought the release of detained IPOB leader NNAMDI KANU. The order followed an ex parte application filed by the federal government through the Nigeria Police Force, arguing that the protest could threaten public peace. Justice M. G. Umar barred Sowore, the Take It Back movement, and persons unknown from holding demonstrations at key Abuja locations. Well, Sowore, however, claimed that the injunction was granted secretly in chambers after the same request had been denied in open court. He alleged that the order specifically targeted protests at the Aso Rock Villa, National Assembly, and Unity Fountain. Well, despite the injunction, Sowore and civil groups maintained their plan to stage the protest, which had gained significant public and political backing online. United States Embassy in Abuja issued a security advisory warning its citizens to avoid the protest areas on October 20, that is tomorrow, citing possible violence, roadblocks, and disruptions. While it urged Americans in Abuja to limit movement, keep children home, and avoid large gatherings and public venues during the demonstration period. In a conflicting development, the same court reportedly refused a separate police ex parte request to stop the protest outright, insisting that Sowore must first be served notice and given a hearing. Well, Justice Omar postponed the case to Tuesday for full consideration. Tuesday, that is the day after the protest, a move Sowore celebrated as a victory for civil rights and democratic expressions. Now, there are mixed reactions, and I wanted to ask the barrister. We are still having difficulties because as at last week, the barrister's position was that, look, the Southeast governor should not be part of this protest. And I wanted to ask him if by a stroke of imagination, his position might have changed over the weekend. Unfortunately, we cannot have him. There's a network connection, so he can't join us here. Well, the police tried to stop the protest through a court but failed. Whether he thinks it was that the police will try through another means. Do you think that the Nigerian police will simply, wait and watch the protesters go in within the precincts of Aso Rock, the National Assembly, Eagle Square, and all of that? Well, tomorrow it's in less than 8, 10, 12 hours. We'll see how it pans out. But like Omoyele Sowore has promised that the protests will be very, very peaceful. Now, let's assume that the protest holds, and ends peacefully. What are the likely impacts it may have on the NNAMDI KANU question? A lot of people are asking, look, this protest might as well just turn confrontational before the government. The government is establishment, and Omoyele Sowore is anti-establishment. Do you think that the government would like to lose its legitimacy by acquiescing, to the demands of Omoyele Sowore through a protest? That is one big question. Do you think that after this protest, even if the governors joined, that the federal government, the big Leviathan, will on their own allow the protest to hold on? These are the big questions. Okay, we are trying to get connections with Barrister Darlington. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Mr. Okoro. How are you?
Very well, very well. Viewers have been waiting for you to join. Well, graciously, you are here. Okay, now, Barrister, let's get into it. Barrister, mixed reactions have trailed your position, the position you expressed within the week, that our state governors should not join the planned protest, for the release of NNAMDI KANU. I want to ask you, between last week when you made that statement on my show and the pushback, that followed it, the resistance that followed it, how much has your position changed over the 3, 4, 5 days? Do you have anything different?
Mr. Okoro, my position has not changed. In fact, I am disappointed in some Nigerians who believe whatever they are told, hook, line, and sinker. Are you aware that the 20th of October is the anniversary of Endsars?
That's tomorrow. Yes.
Good. Listen very well. That particular incident was a very significant incident in the life of Nigerian youth. Because it was not organized by Sowore, he now wants to suppress it and put this particular protest on that same date. What does that tell you? The type of
Barrister,
human being
he said it's a coincidence.
Please listen very well. Listen, don't tell me that. Mr. Okoro, from October 1st till October 20th, we are not dates there. He couldn't have chosen any date. What was the consider? What is significant about protest on the 20th? So I don't want to use this particular protest to suppress the spirit of this youth who died at Lokito Gate. Are you aware that his prime master, Tinubu, never supported Endsars? Remember what he said that day at Toll Gate. Remember what he said? That he came to ask Sowore-led who ordered the shooting. Up to today, was there any sympathy for those youth that died? So you mean that particular date should not be given reverence? You should not be respected. Why must Sowore put his own protest date on the same date just to kill the spirit of Endsars? Because he was not the organizer.
Barrister, let me ask you, do you have a problem with the date or with the planned protest? Which one is your problem?
I am coming now. Don't interject. I am coming.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Nigerian youth. Look, there is something about the dates and the protest he's organizing. Everything. And I'm taking them one by one. In the first place, was it right? Was it right for Sowore to put that his own protest on that date? If he was the one that organized that Endsars, will he put that date? Will he put it on that date? Nigerians have never known who Sowore is. I remember when he went to Alausa during that Endsars, they drove him away. The youth drove him away that they don't want him. Go and check that video. And because he was not organizer of that Endsars, he wants to kill the spirit of Endsars. That's why he put it on that date. Please, if you put it after that date, what will happen? Mr. Okoro, what will happen? If you put it before even 20th, what will happen? Nigerians are not thinking. Seriously, this Sowore, I know him. He likes to exploit every situation. Ask him, why must you put it on that date? What coincidence are you talking about? You mean those youth that are looking to get, they are not important, Abi? They are not important. Their spirit should not be given reverence, Abi. I am ashamed of all of you that are following him. Very, very ashamed of all of you. He wants to kill the spirit of Endsars so that by next year, instead of talking of Endsars anniversary, you'll be talking of a free NNAMDI KANU anniversary, led by Sowore. You can imagine how this boy is really exploitative. You can imagine how exploitative he is. So this one that happened, the scores of Nigerian youth who died is not important, Abi. Mr. Okoro, it is not important. You Nigerian followers, it is not important, Abi. Is it not supposed to do the anniversary of Endsars on that date? Why did you use another protest to suppress it, to kill it? Because his paymaster have told him to do so. That's why he put it on that date. If not, why? Mr. Okoro, if not, why? The government is afraid that by 20th of October, Nigerians are going to remember Endsars. That was why they told Sowore to put it on that date. And he's now using it to exploit the Southeast and NNAMDI KANU. Can you imagine? Can you imagine exploitation at the highest level? Let Sowore come and tell me why he should put it on that date. So that when some of us will now read through into his actions, he will say, we don't want. Who told you? You have Sowore? Sowore have not made 1/4 of the effort I've made concerning the NNAMDI KANU. Sowore have not made it. So you cannot come and tell me that I'm against NNAMDI KANU. It's impossible. Mr. Okoro, secondly, Sowore told you that no matter what we do, that the government have told him that they want to convict NNAMDI KANU before talking of releasing him. So since you are aware of all this, why are you protesting? Why are you protesting? Mr. Okoro, to make matters worse, All this while that Sowore is talking and making noise, nobody have talked to him, nobody have arrested him. But to the people that want to do the protest, they are harassing him up and down. He said it himself. He said it himself that they are harassing those who want to do this protest. So why are they not harassing him? Why are they not harassing him? In the 48 laws of power, it is said that when you strike the shepherd, the sheep will scatter. If they wanted to stop the protest, it is Sowore they should have taken in, because he's the organizer. So what are you telling me here? I don't like this idea of exploiting the Southeast. Seriously, this is exploitation. Manipulation.
No. Excuse me, Barrister. Barrister, I don't know how you want to, because NNAMDI KANU is from the Southeast. How would this be an exploitation of the Southeast? But before we get into all of that, Barrister, before we get into the issue of the Southeast, I want the technical back
going about it. Mr. Okoro, ask Sowore, why are you not galvanizing people from the Southwest?
He said Nigerians. He said all Nigerians.
He said what?
He said all Nigerians. All Nigerians should come out.
Is it not when we started criticizing that you now call out all Nigerians? Okay, all Nigerians. Who is joining him now? Is there anybody from the Southwest that indicated interest?
Barrister, you never can tell. I mean, tomorrow, if you go to Abuja tomorrow, you see people, Nigerians from all the political zones.
Let him call out. Mr. Okoro, let him call out. Governors from the north. Let him call them out. Let him call out governors from the southwest.
He reached out to Atiku Abubakar, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and he gave his support.
Mr. Okoro, these are politicians. Mr. Okoro, listen very well. These are politicians looking for votes. They are looking for votes. I will not take countenance to those people. There are very important questions we should be asking Sowore. Why do you want the spirit of Endsars to be killed?
No, okay, Barrister, I'm happy that you brought us back. Barrister, I'm happy that you brought us back. Barrister, hold on. I'm happy that you brought us back to the issue of Endsars. Now, the Take It Back movement is also organizing a protest tomorrow to commemorate the 5th anniversary of Endsars.
You cannot see, Mr. Okoro, you cannot see that this guy is a rabble rouser. Very, very big time rabble rouser. How do you put up with 2 protests in a day, in a country? Which one are you going to look at? Which one are you going to participate in, Mr. Okoro? You can imagine that this guy is a rabble rouser. So which of the protests now will now hold swear? You can imagine how people just embarrass themselves in the name of protest. If you do this protest after on Monday, after 20th, what will happen? Mr. Okoro, what will happen? Let him bring out of that. This is very intelligent. Let him bring out of that. Why did you choose that date?
All right, now, Barrister, let's move on. Now, the police tried to stop the protest through a court order, but failed. Do you think they will try other means? Do you think they will try another means?
They will not.
Okay, so the protest will hold. Okay, so you think that the protest will hold tomorrow?
It is left for Sowore. I don't know what he's doing. It is left for Sowore. Right now, I am smelling a rat.
No, Barrister, do you think that? Barrister, do you think that people like Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar and Obi Agwacha, do you think that they will join the protest?
Yes, these are politicians. They are looking for votes. So I will not say yes or no here. But to the governors in the Southeast, I want to see any of them that will come and follow Sowore. That means all the effort they have been making, nobody recognizes it. That of Sowore that they not recognize.
Barrister, what efforts have the people of the South been making? I mean the governors in particular, the governors. No, Barrister, I'm talking about the governors. I'm talking about the governors.
You are talking about what?
The governors. What efforts have the governors been making? because we hear that the man is being...
to be talking like this. You are telling me that all the governors in the South are not made up.
Barrister, we hear that these same governors... No, Barrister, hold on. We hear that these governors don't want him released because it's very influential and that it's going to affect their elections and political fortunes. So that is what I want you to address.
Leave that propaganda. Was it everybody in the Southwest that wanted the Sowore to be released? No, when they released him, was there a meeting in the Southwest that said, please release Sowore for us? Why did the Tinubu presidency release him? When they find this propaganda, don't jump on it. Don't jump on it. The federal government is holding the federal government is holding him. So leave all those propaganda. What are you saying? Is there any
Barrister, we heard.
All this is a rumor. NNAMDI KANU, they don't want to do. He himself, Sowore, is everybody in Southwest? Were they in agreement that they should release Sowore? Was there any time people in the Southwest sat down and said that his own class is doing more than that of NNNAMDI KANU? He called for revolution. That was why Buhari detained him. So how come you just let go? The matter was not even tried. So what are you telling me here? Everybody is now using NNNAMDI KANU for political gain. That is all.
Barrister, let me ask you. Barrister, let me ask you. Barrister, let me ask you.
You want to measure the effort we are making? This matter is a political solution. But the government is in power. You don't want to be embarrassed to say that NNNAMDI KANU is that the one that you have forgotten that there is a case against the federal government. And their fear is that if they release NNNAMDI KANU, we will not come for damages or compensation based on what the court says. So the
Barrister, let me ask you.
That's why we want to do the political solution.
Barrister, let me ask you. Barrister, let me ask you. Barrister, okay. Barrister, let me ask you. You said something that is very important. How Omoyele Sowore was released, without even taking him to court. Why? Because he organized the revolution now. Barrister, when Omoyele Sowore organized revolution now, were Nigerians killed in that process? Because what the government has against NNNAMDI KANU is that NNAMDI might not have killed anybody himself, but that his words and actions have led to the death of Nigerians from the southeast. Shouldn't that be the difference between his case and Omoyele Sowore?
You know what it is? This is reasonable felony for you to call for revolution.
Okay, you want that means you want to overthrow the government.
Yet nobody has taken him to court or detained him or even prosecuted him. Is that not a fact? So why is it that the government is using Sowore against the Igbos and we want to jump into it willingly as if we don't have the brain of our own? Why must it be a Sowore that will start telling us what to do?
I'm happy that you brought up this point again.
Everybody has been saying that this particular NNNAMDI KANU case is a political solution. Was there any time people say we should go and protest to solve the problem? Can you force the government through protest to do what they don't want to do?
Barrister, let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you another question now. Barrister, when you talk, you hold on. Let me ask you another question. Now, would it have made a difference if another person, apart from Sowore, organized this protest? Looks like you have a problem with the person organizing the protest, Omoyele Sowore. What would it have made a difference if somebody from the southeast or from the north or even from the southwest, apart from Sowore, that is organizing the protest, would it have made a difference?
You said when we get to the bridge, we think of how to cross it. When it is time for protest, everybody will know that this protest is proper and it will yield fruit. This one of Sowore, I've given you my reasons. Sowore is taking that date, 20th of October, to kill the spirit of Endsars because he was not the organizer. And his paymasters never wanted Endsars.
Okay.
If not, let Sowore tell us why he had to choose that date. Is there any wisdom in it? After 20th of October, you have almost 1 day before October will end. Can't you choose another date? Can't you? You don't want to kill the spirit of Endsars and then forget about those innocent souls that are making it okay. Is it fair?
Okay, all right, Barrister.
Is it fair? Nigerians, is it fair?
Okay, now Barrister, we need to move on. Barrister, we need to move on. Now, I've discovered that your position has not changed from what you believed in last week. Now, let's move on to another thing. Let's talk about the Endsars itself. Because tomorrow
who are letting I have given you reasons for my position.
Okay.
And I challenge anybody to prove otherwise to me. What are you telling me?
Okay, now I think that the people.
Nothing else.
Okay, now, Barrister, I'm sure that the people that oppose you. Beautiful. Barrister, the people that opposed you, are listening, and they will get to hear that you have maintained their position. Now, let's talk about the Endsars protest. Tomorrow will be the 5th anniversary of Endsars protest that rocked Nigeria 5 years ago, precisely on the 20th of October 2020. Well, the protest largely staged by youths, to draw the attention of the federal authorities over the police brutality, overreaching and overzealous activities of men of the state anti-robbery squad named SARS, S-A-R-S, especially against the youths. And the protest turned awry on the 10th day when Nigerian soldiers opened live bullets and killed numerous protesters. 5 years after, Nigerians are asking if justice has been served the youths, and how far has the authorities reformed the police, to make it modern, friendly, and supportive of government efforts in fighting crime. Barrister, tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of Endsars protest. Has justice been served to the victims? What's your broad reaction to the 5th anniversary of Endsars protest?
It has not been served. It has not been. Anybody died. They denied that somebody died. But thankfully, he brought a lady, one of the organizers of Endsars, to that studio, VOP studio. And the lady gave us a breakdown of what happened, what transpired. So it has not been served because it has gotten worse. It has gotten worse. That's the truth. And that is why I am very, very disappointed that Nigerian youth are not even asking for those youth to be remembered, to be immortalized. These are things we should be talking about. But because the powers, the people in power now, they don't want to hear Endsars. That's why they're trying everything to kill it. The idea is that by that 20th of October, there will be projects that will remind them of Endsars and what they did. Because it was every government that did all this thing. And you are now knowing the actors and those who ordered the shooting of Nigerian youth. They don't want to be reminded of it. That's why they put this on the 20th of October. Not to kill it, not for us to forget it.
Barrister, when you say that the people in government are the ones that ordered the killing of Nigerian youth by soldiers, were them military officers then? Can a civilian order soldiers to kill?
NDC government. Mr. Okoro, it was NDC government under Buhari. NDC is still in power up to today. So they don't want to remember what happened. In Lagos, somebody ordered a shooting. Who was that person?
Was he a soldier? Barrister, a soldier should have ordered the shooting. That soldier is in government now.
Somebody gave order to the soldiers. Soldiers cannot act on their own.
Barrister, the person that gave order
not allowed to do such a thing.
Barrister, the person that gave the orders to the soldiers, is he a soldier and is he serving in government now?
I don't believe you. Mr. Okoro,
Yes, sir.
The government is supposed to take the blame.
Okay,
the government
okay.
is supposed to take the blame. No soldier, not even chief of army staff can make such another.
Okay, no, barrister, we are questioning home. In the 5 years, you know, that Endsars protest took place, which was the youth calling for reforms within the Nigerian police in terms of welfare, better allowance, better salaries, better welfare, and all of that, accommodation, uniform, and every other thing. In the past 5 years, how far have we traveled in reforming the Nigerian police? SARS was renamed SWAT. Are they still doing all of those things that they were doing, like harassing young men? Anybody that is seen with a laptop, any young man that is seen a laptop is labeled a scammer, a fraudster, and all of that. How much of that has changed in the past 5 years?
Mr. Okoro, it has gotten worse.
Barrister, go ahead. I can hear you, sir.
Nothing has changed. It has gotten worse. Is that the press have been told not to report all that is going on? That is the truth. It has gotten worse. In fact, the news the other time that they bought 25 cartons of tobacco biscuits at 85,000 million naira. Is that not corruption on its own? Eh? Is that not corruption? Nothing has gotten better. If you are doubting me, go to any police station, go and report the case. Mr. Okoro, go and report the case and see how much you spend there. Eh? If you as a complainant, we are not talking of the accused. How much will you pay there? The social. How much will you pay there before you come out? Eh? So what I say? I said let any Nigerian go to any police station and tell me how you come out, whether you not spend money. Eh? And I told you before, our police station cannot survive a day without a bribe money. And this money is collecting at the roadblock. None of them can survive. They can't even function without those money.
No, but Barrister, are you saying that the government doesn't give them? Barrister,
from the public, that change. Mr. Okoro, is that a change?
Barrister, are you telling me that government does not give the police subvention?
Is that what? They give them all, but the people are at the top. They will not let the money.
The Nigerian police force subventions.
Okoro, they are talking as if they are not from this country. They give them money. The money.
No, Barrister. I mean, every year now. Barrister, hold on.
Even at the police station, Mr. Okoro, they buy statements.
Barrister, my question is this.
At the police station, I have witnessed it. I have seen it. You buy it. You buy even from your colleague. Eh? Even from your colleague. In my presence, the police officer was telling his colleague to give him a statement. He said, the one when you buy yesterday, you never pay. He said, don't worry, I will pay later. In my presence. So what are you telling me?
Now, Barrister, my question is this. Every year, the Ministry of Internal Affairs or the Ministry of Police Affairs, the supervising ministry, through the Police Service Commission and all other police agencies, submit a budget to the National Assembly, which is approved. Does it mean that the money don't get to those police stations? That is my question. Because you said they cannot survive one day without taking bribes on the road. Barrister, can you hear me?
Is that not obvious? I'm not giving you my reasons now. It doesn't get to them. If they cannot have money to get a statement sheet of paper, which other money are they going to get? No, tell me, which other money? This, what is it called now? This is glass. Was it not the IGP that started it until the court to stop him? All the money they have paid, where is it going to, Mr. Okoro? That account, have anybody investigated who owns that account? Where people are going to pay money for that tinted glass? Eh? Mr. Okoro, are you aware that if you want to go and sign any petition, as the Kamsalem house, you will pay money? Are you aware? Are you aware? Even to approve your petition, in any of the smaller police station, you must pay money. Let anybody challenge me on this course now. If it's not true. So what has happened?
Okay. All right. Now, Barrister, we are coasting home. Let's talk about the presidential pardon. Well, the presidential pardon list recently approved by Nigeria's Council of State has sparked controversy following public outrage over the inclusion of high-profile and violent offenders. Among those listed were convicts such as Miriam Sanders, sentenced for murdering her husband, and Kevin Prosper Oniara, a notorious kidnapper. While the pardon was intended to decongest prisons and promote reconciliation, critics questioned the transparency and integrity of the protest. While security and anti-graft agencies, including the EFCC, ICPC, and NDLEA, reportedly objected to several names on the list, alleging that some were smuggled in without proper vetting. They warned that releasing certain individuals could endanger national security and weaken the fight against corruption and organized crime. Well, as a result, the presidency is considering removing controversial names from the final list. Attorney General Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, clarified that the clemency process is still under review and that no inmate has yet been released. He emphasized that the ongoing verification is part of standard procedure to ensure that only qualified persons benefit from the president's mercy, adding that the government remains committed to transparency, due process, and public accountability. Well, that's it. It's a developing story. We'll come back another time and talk about this. It's a developing story. Well, this is how far we can go on this conversation. I must say a very big thank you to our guest, Barrister Darlington Agomo, and those that joined, joined the studio, to view the show and all of that. Well, on behalf of the crew of Complete Politics with Chukwuma Okoro, I am your host, Chukwuma Okoro, and I hope that we can do this some other time. Thanks for being part of the show, and please endeavor to be a good and patriotic Nigerian. Like I said in the beginning of the show, Nigeria is the only country we have. We have no other country than Nigeria. Play your own part. In your own little corner, anything you can do to uplift this country, please don't fail to do it. Let us always be our brother's keeper. Bye for now until I see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.